If you're sitting there with tears in your eyes and you're feeling like you're drowning in your adult child's chaos, while maybe everyone else seems to have it all figured out, I want you to take a deep breath and hear this. First of all, you are not a bad mother for feeling overwhelmed, and you are not selfish for wanting your peace back. You're not weak for feeling like you're walking on eggshells in your own life. And you are absolutely not alone in this struggle. What you are experiencing is really emotional overcarrying. And more importantly, it has a solution. And today we're going to walk through that together. So today I have 4 points for you. So let's dive right in. Number 1 is when love turns heavy. Carrying versus caring, right? So when you feel that weight in your chest and that ache that never lets up, and I know a lot of you are feeling that right now, that's not love. That is carrying what was never meant to be yours. Loving your adult child does not mean absorbing all the chaos or fixing their consequences. It means trusting that God is going to parent them now in ways that you can't. Because when you carry what's theirs, you unintentionally, out of love, you're blocking the lessons that God might be teaching them through natural consequences. I want you to think about this. We all have consequences. We had consequences in our families as we were growing up, right? We have consequences with the law. We have consequences with our jobs, but you're not saving them, you're stalling them. And that guilt is really misdirected. And I know you're feeling exhausted, and that's a sign of a mom trying to be God in a story that's not yours to write. I know that sounds heavy, because it is. But what if you started to make a list? You may be raising your hand saying, yep, that's me, but what am I supposed to do about it? I want you to start by making a list of things that are not yours to carry. Every day, write even just one thing that you are handing back, giving that back to God, release it in prayer, whatever that is for you. But that is so important, because if you did that for a week, I guarantee you could find at least 7 things that are not yours to carry. And then number 2, there's signs that you've crossed from caring into carrying. People ask me how I do what I do. And that's something I had to learn. I love my clients. I care about each and every one of these situations. I care about your situation. But if I were to carry everything that is not mine, I would lose my mind. It would be too much. It would be way too much. But there's a fine line where you can make that shift. And I know it's different when it's your own child. I totally get it. But you may not even realize that you've stepped over the line. Here's a few signs that might help you see it a little bit more clearly. I don't want you to have shame assigned to it either, because you're not broken, you're human. And you've been carrying this for far too long. And for a lot of you, you've been carrying it their whole life. You sit there and you replay their choices in your mind. Probably keeps you up at night, right? I used to do the same thing. Maybe you feel responsible for their happiness, their healing. Maybe you are making excuses for their behavior to others because you don't want them to have those consequences. And most importantly, you're neglecting your own needs to be there for them. As moms, we do that at times, but you're doing it a lot to the point where it's consuming you. And then on top of it, you're probably feeling guilty if you're not actively helping or fixing, because like it's your job to do that. You've assigned that story to your own life, that's your job, is to be there actively helping and fixing everything that comes their way. If you resonated with any of those, I want you to know that you're not crazy, you're not overreacting, and you're not alone. So I just want you to know that if you're tired of living like this, you're exhausted, you're anxious, you might even be disconnected from your own life, then I want to invite you to something that could change everything for you when you're ready. So I offer a private discovery call for moms just like you. And this isn't a coaching session. It's a conversation where we get to look at what support could finally bring you the clarity and strength and peace that you've been looking for. I'll explain how the coaching programs work, but more importantly, I get to listen to you and I get to hear what is happening with your son or your daughter, and even more importantly, what is happening to you because of it. So if you're interested in that, when you're ready, you can click the link below, which is in the show notes. Number 3 is carrying doesn't help them like we think it is. We think we're only doing it to help. We're not doing anything to harm them intentionally. But what happens is it's hindering their growth. And I know this is hard for some of you to hear, but the more you carry for them, the more you unintentionally send this message that I don't believe you can handle this. And every time you rescue them, you're robbing them of discovering their own strength. How many of you have rescued your kids? I know I have. But every time we soften the blow, rescue them, they're missing the lesson that God's trying to teach them. And we think we're protecting them because obviously that's like the main thing we're trying to do. Again, we're not doing this out of spite. We're doing this because we love them. But you're actually preventing their own progress. And trust me, they probably don't see it that way. Things are working for them, so they think. But typically what often feels like love is fear in disguise. I want you to think about that. Are you doing this out of fear even more than you're doing it out of love? So let's dive into number 4, which is how to love without losing yourself. You don't have to harden your heart to survive. You just need to shift how you love them, what it looks like. And this is what caring without carrying looks like. You get to set boundaries that protect your peace. That's a concept. A lot of you haven't done that for many, many years. And you allow the natural consequences even when it hurts. And you're offering support, not always a solution. There's a big difference. And you get to reclaim your identity beyond being mom the fixer, right? Mom, the one that rushes to the problem and fixes everything. But that allows you to choose to trust God more than your fear. Because right now, faith and fear cannot exist at the same time. So you were not meant to carry both your pain and theirs. You have your own pain to deal with. I understand that. But you were meant to care, release, and then live. And so maybe even something like a power word for the month. Maybe you're going to choose peace, or you're going to choose trust or surrender. I just want to encourage you that you are a good mom. You are allowed to protect your peace. You can love them and still live your life. And you can stop carrying what was never yours to hold, which will allow you to breathe again. So I hope this helped you. Don't beat yourself up if this was you, if this is you. So I hope this helped. I'll see you in the next episode. God bless.